Reframing Emotional Unavailability, a Clinical Lens on Disconnection, Defense, and Repair, by Adam Terpstra. Emotional unavailability is not a pathology. It is a protective strategy born of adaptation. It deserves both compassion and curiosity. Defining emotional unavailability, a protective phenomenon. In psychotherapy, emotional unavailability is often used to describe patients or relational dynamics, in which emotional presence is guarded, inconsistent, or altogether absent. But this framing can pathologize what is, at its core, a survival strategy, a way the nervous system orients towards perceived safety in the face of vulnerability. A working definition of emotional unavailability is the learned or reflexive inhibition of attunement, emotional expression, or intimacy, often rooted in early attachment, developmental trauma, internalized shame, relational disruptions, or role reversal dynamics. While sometimes viewed through a lens of apathy or avoidance, emotional unavailability is rarely about disinterest. Instead, it is often about preservation, of control, of dignity, of internal equilibrium. Clinical presentations, how emotional unavailability manifests. In patients, emotional unavailability may show up as abrupt disengagement when sessions reach emotional depth, affective flatness or minimization of distress, difficulty naming or accessing emotions in responses such as, "I don't know how to feel," discomfort with closeness, emotional attunement or empathy, evasiveness or intellectualization in therapy. In the therapeutic relationship, you might notice a glass wall feeling, proximity without connection, limited memory of emotional experiences or significant relational events, subtle contempt or detachment in moments of therapeutic vulnerability, sudden dissociation or shifts to neutral topics during emotional content. These responses can be easily mistaken as resistance or disinterest, when in fact they may be early indicators of deep procedural memory, of closeness equating to harm. Understanding the function, why emotional unavailability develops. Patients who present as emotionally unavailable often come from environments where affection or vulnerability was unpredictable or contingent on performance. Emotional expression was ignored, punished, or shamed. Emotional intensity within the home was enmeshed, unregular, or unsafe. Their emotional needs were subordinate to caregiving roles, such as parentification. As such, they may have learned that presence equals pressure, openness equals exposure, and connection equals collapse. From this lens, emotional unavailability is not failure. It is a nervous system blueprint for staying intact. Assessing emotional unavailability in practice. Clinicians can gently assess for emotional unavailability by noticing patterns like a void of affect during emotionally evocative topics, deflection through humor, logic, or sarcasm, premature shifts to problem-solving over feeling, somatic cues such as crossing arms, eye aversion, posture withdrawal, shallow breathing, and statements like, "It's fine, it doesn't matter," when content suggests otherwise. Rather than confronting these patterns head-on, clinicians can externalize and depersonalize them, inviting curiosity. I noticed a part of you pulled back just now. What might have happened just now to influencing you to pull away? Repairing emotionally unavailability, a phased, compassionate approach. Working with emotional unavailability in therapy is a process of reattachment, not only to others, but to one's own internal emotional life. The goal is not to force emotional expression, but to reestablish internal permission to feel, to need, and trust. First, build safety through regulation and choice. Normalize avoidance as a survival response. Offer permission to pace, pause, or revisit difficult content. Co-create micro boundaries. For example, you don't have to tell me more than you're ready to. Prioritize co-regulation over exposure. Foster emotional literacy in language. Use emotional vocabulary tools, for example, the feeling wheel or somatic mapping. Practice parts identification through internal family systems or emotion labeling through emotions-focused therapy. Highlight the nervous system's role in suppression. What happens in your body when we get too close to something? 3. Gently disrupt disconnection patterns. Call attention to in-session distancing with empathy. I noticed something shifted. Did we just hit something tender? Explore what the client fears would happen if they stayed in the present. Use corrective emotional experiences. Model staying with instead of fixing or fleeing. 4. Introduce reparative relational experiences. Validate ambivalence about connection. It's okay to want closeness and be scared of it at the same time. Provide consistent, non-intrusive emotional attunement. Offer attuned responses to rupture and repair. It felt like things got hard last session. I'm here when you want to circle back. The long arc of change. Therapeutic implications. Healing emotional unavailability is rarely dramatic. It is slow, layered, and non-linear. But the shifts are meaningful. A client who once deflected now says, "This is hard to talk about, but I want to try." A part that once dissociated now stays in the room. Barely, but fully. A system that once believed connection is unsafe now asks, "Can we talk again next week?" These are not small steps. They are relational repatternings that alter the patient's experience of both therapy and self. Final thought. Emotional availability as an act of reclamation. Helping a patient access their emotional availability is not about coaxing disclosure or digging for depth. It is about making contact with parts of them that learned it was not safe to feel. Our task is to help those parts find their way home, gently, at their own pace. Because underneath the sarcasm, shutdown, silence, or stillness is often a small, scared part whispering, "If I let you see me, will you stay?" The answer, as always in therapy, is yes, and we'll go as slowly as you need.